My name is Ruth Supranovich, and I'm a clinical associate professor at the University of Southern California's Suzanne Dworak-Peck School of Social Work, where I also serve as the Director of Field Education.
My name is Rick Newmyer, and I'm a senior lecturer with the Suzanne Dworak-Peck School of Social Work at USC.
While I've been here at the school for the past 8 years, prior to joining academia, I had over 25 years of social work experience in the field, doing everything from case management to clinician to supervisor, manager, and leader in both nonprofit and governmental organizations.
Before coming to USC, I was in the nonprofit field for around 20 years, developing and managing programs to help children, youth, and families.
So when I joined the Suzanne Dworak-Peck School of Social Work, I reconnected with someone I had gone to graduate school and who, as colleagues, we had crossed paths several times in our profession, our professional careers as social workers, and that was Rick Newmyer. We began to have long conversations over numerous cups of coffee about our career paths, our trajectories, and here we were at the School of Social Work teaching a lot of micro evidence-based practices. And we would discuss how these were very similar to the things that we were doing as macro practitioners, working with communities, working with organizations, working with individuals we supervised.
So a few years ago, teaching a class on management, and the topic for that week is strategic planning. So I'm up in front of the class and I'm talking about what is strategic planning and why is it important and what are the different steps in strategic planning. And I looked out at the students and I saw a lot of, kind of sort of eyes glazed over, and I realized it's not landing, it's not sticking for them, that they're not connecting with what I'm talking about. Most of the students in our program, most of the students in that class don't have management backgrounds, don't have business backgrounds. A lot of them came from undergrad where they studied psychology, sociology, criminal justice. So these concepts just were not connecting for them. It occurred to me that the process of strategic planning is not that different from the process of case planning. You have a client come in, and one of the things that you ask them, sometimes known as the magic wand question, which is if you had a magic wand and you could make everything in your life better, what would it look like? Well, that's the vision. For strategic planning, that's the vision. That's essentially what the organization does, where they look to the future 3 to 5 years from now and they articulate that vision. And then the next thing you do with the client is you do an assessment and you get a sense of the different risks and resources that are in the life of that client, in their family, in their system. Well, that's the SWOT analysis in strategic planning. That is the looking at the strengths and weaknesses of the organization as well as opportunities and threats in their environment. And I saw light bulbs go off over the heads of the students as they were like, oh, now I understand. Now I get it.
We started really saying this is the same process with a different client system. And this is really micro practice on the macro level. And hence the title of this new book, Taking Micro to the Macro. We really wrote this book with people in mind who were clinicians or direct practitioners, human service professionals who have been mostly serving clients on a direct practice level, who are now either contemplating themselves about moving into supervision or management, or have perhaps been tapped on the shoulder by their managers, asking them to consider this.
We structured this book in a way that mirrors the process of doing client work. The book begins with engagement, moves to assessment, and intervention, and finally evaluation and termination.
And of course, we end with a very important chapter on self-care. Very important for direct practitioners and very, very important also for supervisors, managers, and leaders. In each chapter of the book, we highlight the relevant clinical practice and discuss how it is adapted and applied in a more macro context. We provide examples along the way and some case studies to show how it's applied. Over the next few presentations, we will share some of the ideas from our book taking micro to the macro.
Each video in this series will highlight one evidence-based practice, and we will talk about that practice, how it's used in direct client work, and then talk about how to adapt it to use it as a supervisor and a manager.
To be particularly topical, we will create some scenarios that you all are dealing with right now in terms of the pandemic and issues related to racial injustice in society.
Thank you for watching, and we hope you enjoy this series.
If you want to know more, you can certainly check out our book.